What's up, everybody? It's Justin Dalton here, one of your co-hosts for the Casting Hour, and I am here to do our very first solo video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a review and comparison of the day one Xbox One controller to my worn out Xbox 360 controller that I've put many hours into. Okay, well, first off here, I am going on my second week of having my Xbox One, and I've had many of experiences with my 3 games, from Killer Instinct to 2K to Assassin's Creed. First off, I want to say about the day one controller, it feels nothing short of amazing. The the upgrades, which we talked about in the casting hour, is very slim, but very noticeable when you pick it up. These past 2 days, I played my 360. That way, when I did this video, I have more to talk about, I guess, in comparison to the 360 to the Xbox One. Um, the first thing the first thing that I really noticed when I played with the Xbox One controller was the impulse triggers that let's see if we can get it. These babies here was Microsoft really toted about these. They wanted everyone to, you know, maybe feel more in tune with the games. They said, when you're playing with Forza, you're going to feel the car skid. When you play a shooting game, you're going to feel the trigger kind of pushed back, kind of like if you're pulling a real trigger. And I haven't played either of those games, so I can't really speak for that, but I did play with 2K, and 2K was, if the ball was in your left hand, you were going to feel the ball on the left trigger. It was going to vibrate. The whole left side of the controller would vibrate, and I found that really cool. The next big thing is the analog sticks here. We've all seen them. They got the little ridges on them. I like them. Playing Assassin's Creed, one of my biggest downfalls to this controller was that my finger would slip off as I was playing, and it was annoying. I didn't like it. I would have to basically come back over from holding it to where I can get my finger back into place to push back up on it to keep running. And it just, and the little dots on it didn't help. It didn't do much for anybody. It didn't do much a lot for me, especially playing a game like Assassin's Creed where you're continuously pushing up on the stick. So yeah, the sticks, they're a little bit smaller, but you feel the smallness, I guess, in a way, of them. And you get used to it. You really do. You get used to the controller really fast. I went back to the 360 last night and to play NCAA Football 13 or 14, sorry, and it was really noticeable, like how much different the 360 controller is to the Xbox One, and I didn't really notice it at first how well the Xbox One controller felt in my hands until I went back to the 360 controller, when the 360 controller felt way more rounded on the handles, where the Xbox One is a little bit more squared, I guess you can say, a little bit more cut, and it just feels more natural in your hands. It feels like you can play for longer periods of time, and not get in your hand, not get tired. And the next thing was how to go more onto the triggers with the Xbox One is that the triggers are bigger. So if you're anything like me, you like to rest your fingers on the triggers. So the triggers kind of feel like you can rest them, and no matter where your fingers are on the trigger, you're gonna be able to push. There's no feedback. Look, like I'm barely putting any pressure on it, and it's going down. I like that. I really do. It's very impressive. Really good feeling controller so far. The D-pad, there's the Xbox One, 360. I mean, those are just day and night. Huge differences when it comes to the D-pad. This little annoying little disc thing. I don't know what they were thinking with this. Like, honestly, I mean, who would want that crap? Like, playing fighting games on that, even just playing Call of Duty, I didn't like it. Yeah, I mean, this controller right here, man, takes the cake. I do believe it takes the cake. It's the best controller out there. I mean, I played went down to my friend's apartment down the block from, or not down the block, but right down the hallway from me, and he has a PS4. Got a PS4 on Black Friday, and I I gotta be honest, it's an okay controller, but it's not Xbox One. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna have a whole lot more fun with this than I am with that PlayStation controller. Because overall, from the sticks to just even the jewel button on it, just that, and the D-pad, the buttons feel a lot better. You can push the buttons a lot easier. The bumpers still have that nice click to it. Overall, I'm really impressed with what Microsoft did. We said it last week or earlier this week, I should say, on the show, that uh, the Xbox stayed at home, so did Sony, and just improved on the controller, and it did really, really well. They did really, really well. Small improvements, very finite adjustments to it. Um, Overall, so far, it's got to be the rumble motors and the triggers, and just the sticks. I really do like the sticks. Me and my friend like to say, fancy stick work. Being able to move around on the court or on the field, whatever you're playing. And yeah, really enjoying it. I've got 2 weeks into it now, and gotta say I'm really impressed. And I'm gonna move on to my second topic, and this will wrap up the show. This Saturday is the VGX Awards, formerly known as the VGAs. And I just wanted to give my predictions on who I think is going to win the Game of the Year and the Action Adventure Game of the Year, because those are the two categories that affect me the most. First off, we'll start with the Action Adventure Game of the Year. We have The Last of Us, GTA 5, Assassin's Creed 4, and Tomb Raider. Of course, if you guys have followed us since well, not followed us since the first episode, maybe in the second video, we all know that I'm very biased when it comes to Assassin's Creed. Um, but I have played, 3 out of the 4. I played every game except for Last of Us because I do not own a PS3. But I did watch it, so I know the story. I know how the gameplay works. I have played like 2 hours of it over at my friend's house, over at Nathan's house. And yeah, really enjoyed that game. Tomb Raider, really enjoyed it. GTA 5, really enjoyed it. Assassin's Creed, loved it. My pick, gonna be tough. It's probably gonna be for action adventure. You're gonna be looking at a game maybe like GTA 5, or it's gonna be between GTA 5 and Assassin's Creed, because those are tuned to be action adventures, where more open world, more unlike well, Tomb Raider kind of is, but you still got to go to mission. You still don't have these side missions where you just wander off and spend countless hours like you did in Assassin's Creed and GTA 5. So if I had to give you guys an answer, I'm gonna say Assassin's Creed, but it'll probably ultimately be GTA 5. But I'll be happy with either one, any of them winning, I think. And now moving on to the big one of the night, it's going to be the Game of the Year. Game of the Year is between GTA 5, The Last of Us, BioShock Infinite, Tomb Raider, and Super Mario 3D World. Now, if you look back at previous history with the VGAs and now the renamed VGX, Nintendo has never won Game of the Year, and I don't think it's going to start now. So we're going to roll out Super Mario World. Next, you're going to be looking at BioShock. I am completely against first-person shooters winning Game of the Year, regardless of their story. BioShock is a first-person shooter. BioShock will not win Game of the Year. I will guarantee that. They will not win Game of the Year. And if I'm wrong, I will admit it on the next casting hour or my next solo video. But if you had to ask me, this is a 2-horse race. It's between GTA 5 and The Last of Us. If you ask me, Game of the Year should be based on gameplay, should be based on story, and ultimately the ending of the game. How the whole ending of the game affects you personally. I mean, this is a personal opinion. Game of the VGXs, they're based off of like 15 to 20 gaming journalism sites type things, but it's ultimately a personal opinion. Both games got highly rated on Metacritic, which I think the highest was GTA 5 on Metacritic. I could be wrong. Like I said on previous episodes before, I'm an IGN fanboy. Both of them got 10.0s on IGN. But for me, gameplay wise, it's probably going to go to GTA 5. Just kind of like, because Naughty Dog hasn't perfected the shooting mechanics, and I get it, it's a realism, and it's supposed to be uh, survival, so it's not supposed to be easy. But honestly, like when I played it for the 2 hours, it kind of felt a little clunky at first. Once I got used to it, I was okay. But GTA 5, I just dropped right in. I knew how to play, with the exception of a few driving things. Um, Next is going to be um, the story, I guess you can say, with the story to the ending. The ending in Last of Us held me for, I don't know, forever. And with Naughty Dog sticking to their ending, unlike where we big comparison was last year with BioWare with Mass Effect 3, changing their endings, making an update to where you could have different endings on top of the three or four initial endings that they had. Last of Us, Naughty Dog, they stuck to it. I enjoyed the ending. It left me emotionally, and like I was like, it left me almost empty. If anyone's read the Hunger Games, it's kind of the same type of ending. It left me empty, but also wanting more from the series, and kind of like just I was amazed on how Naughty Dog wrote the story perfectly. Don't want to spoil it for anybody. It was just a completely really good game from beginning to end. It didn't drag. Where That's where I feel GTA's downfall is. Right in the middle of it, I want to say about mission 20 to 30, somewhere in that range. I just didn't want. I basically had to force myself to finish this game, and I didn't like that. I don't want to have to sit there and like I have to finish this game. I want to finish this game. It just got really tedious, and then once I got to a certain mission, I was like, okay, now we're picking up. This is what I expected from a GTA game, and I was like, okay, now I can finish this game, and I feel comfortable finishing this game. But yeah, that's where Last of Us wins. Last of Us definitely wins on the story and the ending. Definitely, I mean, with GTA, we all know you have three big choices at the end. You can kill Trevor or Michael, or you can do a death wish. And yeah, I don't want to spoil how the endings happen, but I picked option A for anyone who did play and beat the game. Uh, Kind of regret it now. I wish I picked C, knowing what happens in C, but that's what I'll say for my second playthrough on it. Um, Ultimately, I say Last of Us wins Game of the Year on solely just because it's a better story, and I can't I never had a game want me to go buy a system more than Last of Us did. When I saw it get announced like 2 or 3 years ago at the VGAs, I was like, I want to own a PS3, sorry, just because of this game, like solely because of this game. God of War didn't do it, Uncharted didn't do it, Infamous didn't do it. It was The Last of Us, and that's what I wanted. So, yeah, Last of Us wins Game of the Year, and GTA 5 is close, but that's about it. And so that wraps it up for this solo video. Not sure what we're gonna call it yet, but yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment in the sections. Tell me what I need to talk about next, and that's it. Justin Dalton signing off for the time being.